Now, in other news, the US president says another armada is on its way towards Iran. The statement from Donald Trump comes as he tries to secure a nuclear deal with the Islamic Republic in the wake of its recent deadly crackdown. The official death toll stands at 3,000, but medical professionals treating the wounded say the real number is up to 10 times higher. Tehran, meanwhile, denying it requested talks with US envoy Steve Witkoff, adding it rejects negotiations in an atmosphere of threats. For more on this story, we can go to Reza Sayah standing by in Tehran. Reza, what are you hearing about communications between Iran and the United States? Because Donald Trump seems to suggest the Iranians were eager to talk.
Yeah, a lot of conflicting reports on that front. We've seen a lot of developments over the past 24 hours, what they mean, how significant they are, and what they signal for the coming days. It's hard to say at this point. We know the United States continues to beat the drums about its growing naval forces in the region, including the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln that's now reportedly in the region. Mr. Trump saying a second armada is in the region and Iran better make a deal. This rhetoric, this kind of ultimatum certainly raises the specter of war and military conflict, but Mr. Trump has kept saying that diplomacy is an option and he wants to talk, he wants to negotiate. He's also said explicitly that Iran has called Washington on numerous occasions to negotiate. That narrative has been rejected by Tehran. Iran's Foreign Minister Ali Abbas Araghchi saying that Iran has not contacted Washington to negotiate. However, Araghchi adding that Iran is engaging intermediaries like Egypt. Today, Egypt's foreign minister holding separate talks, one with Iran's foreign minister, Araghchi, and the other with U.S. Special Envoy to West Asia, Steve Witkoff. So at the very least, some indirect channels are open. Even if negotiations happen, the two sides are far apart in their demands. Washington says Iran can no longer enrich uranium, has to cap its missiles, cut ties with regional proxies. Iran says it will not accept any of those demands and will only talk in an environment where there are no threats and mutual respect.
Reza, the internet, which had been blocked in Iran in the wake of those protests, is now being partially restored. Are we hearing more about the bloody crackdown?
With the internet, that seems to be back up where it was 20 days ago on January 8th. It seems to be connected to the global system. Of course, it was January 8th when the street protests turned violent, when authorities cut off the internet, saying violent protesters and foreign agents were using the internet and messaging services to coordinate their attacks on police stations and government buildings. Now, a lot of the Iranians are seeing the images in reports from those 20 days, but it's also adding to the confusion because clearly there are a lot of factual reports mixed with a lot of non-factual reports, and certainly a lot of grisly images, and that's adding to the confusion and uncertainty for many Iranians here.
Reza, yesterday Iran's currency plunged to a new low. Are people likely to take to the streets once again, given that the reason these protests broke out was because of the economic situation on the ground?
With the current climate, it's hard to predict what's going to happen with the protesters. At this point, we're not seeing any street protests. That doesn't mean the Iranian demands for a better economy, better lives, more freedoms are gone. But when you seemingly don't have a unified and organized opposition, when you have people being killed in the streets at a significant clip and a government that's shown it won't hesitate to crack down on violent protests, many are skeptical that you're going to see wide-scale protests, at least in the immediate future. But unless these demands for Iranians are met, many predict that at some point these protesters are going to come back in the streets.